Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. First things first, Marilyn has a very, 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 very special offer. The link's at the top of the page. Y'all can check that out if you want to now, but we're going to go to it in detail a little bit later on the show, but it's extraordinary. And y'all, I'm just going to say it. We've been doing this 9 years. Y'all are benefiting from 9 years of relationships that we've cultivated and that we've put together here in these beautiful friendships and mutual respect and admiration for we have for one another. And it's so wonderful to have y'all on here and for y'all to participate and for me to get to share with you guys Marilyn and what she brings and just the magic that evolves. But Marilyn started off on the show for me as a medium, as a psychic, and just wonderful information that comes through her information. But quickly started to shifting into, not shifting, but there was an emergence of an embodiment and a grounding in incorporating all of this other stimulation and intelligence that's available also. So for me, that's the new way of living, this consciousness way of really being in alignment with what we are and who we are. And so I'm super excited to go deeper into this conversation because what's also happening on tonight's call is Marilyn's going to be talking about how to discover the pillars to soul alignment. And you're going to find out why that is so important, why it's so important. So I hope that you guys give yourself the opportunity to sit back, relax into the conversation, to receive. We'll get into live Q&A a little bit later on the call also. So if you want to ask Marilyn your live question, you can press the raise hand button at the bottom of the screen. And we'll get into some live Q&A also. But again, in the meantime, let's get you guys just to be in receiving mode, open heart, open mind, and enjoy today's show. So if you're not familiar with Marilyn, Marilyn is an internationally renowned psychic medium teacher, coach. She offers profound and powerful insights to clients all around the world, me including as a friend. And she knows what's possible to be a spiritual person who lives a practical, meaningful, and joyous life. No unicorns, flying carpets, or impossible routines required. She helps others to create that type of life for themselves. And that is her passion. And Marilyn, as always, welcome back to BTO. Thank you for being part of the BTO family. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm so super excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to all of you and to talk to John.
There's a lot coming up. So yeah. Pillars of soul alignment. Tell us more about that.
Well, so it's such a big question. So, and I know you understand this, John. So I'm just going to say something real quick, maybe, and then we'll see what happens. But something I discovered not too long ago, that people were really getting stuck on purpose. And they were like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And they would go to a reader and the reader would say, you're a healer. And they'd be like, what kind of healer? And they'd feel really stuck and trapped. And they'd be so afraid to make a decision about what they should study. And if they studied the wrong thing, then their life would be screwed. And if they didn't get to their purpose, their life was over. And what I have learned through my guides, it's more important to be aligned with your soul than to worry about your purpose. Because when you're aligned with your soul, your purpose is constantly evolving. So you and I have been through many incarnations of careers and businesses and things like that. And if we just stuck on one purpose, we would never be where we are today. So a quick little example of that is I started out as a reader and doing some teaching. And then if I thought my only purpose was to read and serve through readings, I would be really miserable because after a while, I couldn't stand doing them any longer on a one-to-one basis. I wanted to teach people how to do it for themselves. So through my own alignment, just constantly being aligned with my soul, I've evolved into where I am today, which is a super fun place to be in my business with Soul Finder Academy, Membership for Your Soul, the SAS experience, which I'm offering up to all your group, which I never offer anything live. As you know, this is a live experience. And so that it's in a nutshell. And the SAS pillars is the pillar system that I created to help you get aligned with your soul.
I love this.
That's where I'm at.
It's funny. I had this conversation with someone a couple of days ago, and they're like, can you imagine being in the regular job? And it brought me to a memory that I had of my ex-brother-in-law. And he was a doctor and a nephrologist, and he had this practice. He went into work every day and he went in through this routine, and like And it sounded wonderful and glamorous in the beginning, but it started wearing down. And there was more that wanted to evolve, but he was in that box. Not that it's a bad thing, but you can tell specifically where he was getting stifled in this thing that was his purpose. But there was other things that you can just feel the VG would just like kind of break out, that there was something else that wanted to be expressed.
Such a good point, John, because so many people, spiritual people, as you know, have tons of creativity and there's so many different things they want to do. And they're always trying to box it up. That's where they struggle with too. Like, I want to be a hands-on healer, but I also feel like I want to write a book, or I also feel like I can heal through my voice. And they think they can't do it all. And when you're aligned with your soul, you just take the lids off of all the boxes and you just marry everything together and you become who you're supposed to be. And then you're naturally in purpose because it's what you want to do. So I agree with that.
So
And
how do you align with your soul? How do you know if that's
well,
happening?
before I do that, I want to say something else. Notice how I'm making
Okay.
you all have the cookies. You got to wait for the treats like the dogs. You got to sit first. No, I just want to tell a story because I think that a lot of you will relate to this as to where this came from. And John's going to relate to this too, although John lives in alignment. And it's not to say that you guys aren't living in alignment. It's living more in alignment, more in your truth, more for your authenticity. But the reason this came about is I moved up here up north to a house where I always show my windows are filthy. I've got to clean them, but that's my view. And I came up here, and about 2 weeks after I moved here, my first boss came up here, who's a good friend of mine, and she's a big executive in TV. And she was standing on my upstairs deck with me, and she looked at the trees. She looked at me. She looked at the trees. And then she looked at me and she said, "How did you do this?" And what she was getting at was she was finding herself in a career that she absolutely loved, but things were shifting for her and it no longer held the passion for her. She had a family now, things were changing. And she just didn't know how to get out of that golden handcuffs moment. And she didn't know where she was going to go to once she was out of that situation, because we all have moments of retirement and things like that. And that's when the whole pillar system dropped in of like, oh my God, I've been doing this my whole life. I've never stayed in a job that I'm miserable in. I'm always just going to the next thing. So the SAS pillars, the first one is S. It's subconscious thinking. As you know, you have to be aware of what you're thinking, John. Otherwise, the universe is going to bring you crap, constant crap. So many people say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm making a decision to follow my dreams. And then all stuff hits the fan. And some of that is character building moments, but some of that is also you're not aligned. People may think, I want to be a writer, I'm going to be a healer, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a mother finally. But the unconscious thoughts may be like, you can't do that. You're not worthy. You're this, you're that. So S is the subconscious thinking. You get very clear so that you're conscious. A is alignment with your soul, remembering who you want it to be. I almost want to ask John who he wants to be, but I'm not going to do that yet. Who you want it to be and bringing that into your existence today. The third thing is soul ignition, lighting it all up, living in your joy. That's when you light up the fire. That's when your soul is just like, woo, look at me. And you're doing the things that really excite you. And you're saying no to things you don't like and yes to things you want. And then the last one is synchronicity. And synchronicity happens naturally when you're lit up, because the universe is like, oh, now I know what she wants. She doesn't want parking tickets. She doesn't want to be in debt. She wants this incredible experience. And that's where synchronicity comes in. And synchronicity is a whole other, it's a language. It's in every moment. So that's, I'm going to, I don't want to keep talking. I'll leave it to you.
No, you can keep talking. I think it's amazing. And it's the synchronicity being the language is in understanding that vernacular. It's a relationship and awareness and a presence also that comes
Can I
through.
say something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
This is what I said this to my community recently, and they were like, it was a gobsmacked moment. Synchronicity is not only the moments where the doors are opened and everything's aligned. Synchronicity is also the moments where you get smacked in the face and something happens that bothers you, but the universe is teaching you something absolutely incredible to build your character or to not go down that road.
Yeah.
So it's like in every moment of our lives. Go ahead. Now you can talk.
And
Even though it's your show.
It's my turn. You're so funny. Oh my God. We do this with Marilyn. There's this playfulness and this back and forth when we both can talk a lot. So it's wonderful. What you're saying about synchronicity and those Godsmack moments is I've come to understand with all of those that, and again, it's a saying that's constant for me, that everything isn't happening to me, it's happening for me.
Yeah.
And I realized that, and there's such a level of relief from that, because I know that now. Before, I wasn't sure what's rocking it, and it didn't feel comfortable. But even those uncomfortable moments, as uncomfortable they may be, I'll sit for a while, and as I know this is happening for me. Sometimes I'll even laugh through it. It's like, yeah, I know this is happening for me. It's this beautiful
Dance.
dance. Thank you. That's a perfect word for it. It's a beautiful dance
Yeah, it's the
of what
symphony of your
arises.
life. Sorry,
Mhm.
say that.
No, it's the symphony of your life. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Hmm. That
And
you were
I
gonna,
feel like that's one of the moments where, like you said, John and I do this, so just be ready for us. Um, it really pulled me out of victimization and pulled me into being active in my life. Like what I say to people is I put you in the driver's seat of your life. You set your dreams, and then I'm the GPS system to those dreams. I give you the techniques and tools to navigate the road, because
Mhm.
you really want to empower yourself by driving the car yourself and hitting. And now more than ever, we have to hit the gas and we have to go towards our dreams. And there's a certain surrender that happens, that when you're in a synchronicity with the universe, you can actually surrender. So go
Mhm.
ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to take you back to the question you were going to ask me. What do I want to be, or
Yeah,
that's actually a challenging question. And I know that you do that on purpose, not on
I
purpose,
love
but
it.
it's a, I have been in different communication asking what's next, what's coming up, where am I, and also kind of feeling the floating of a potential that's emerging in different ways, and also receiving what's here now, which is all beautiful. But as I ask for guidance, as even as I've asked in sessions with other psychics and all that, when I ask what's coming or what am I to be, I keep getting, well, what do you want?
Mhm.
It's like it's like anything that you want, you will be successful at. What do you want? And I get the answer over and over and over again.
Because it's 2021. You know this.
And
And go ahead.
no, go ahead, please elaborate.
So before this, and you know this, I considered myself a future reader. All the readings I did, I would see people's future very, very clearly, things that they hadn't seen, things that one woman came to me and she was in like tech. And I was like, you're going to be in a commercial. And she thought I was insane. And she came back and told me later that she did some certain kind of calligraphy. So, and she was put in a commercial like 2 weeks later. Somebody else, I said, so I always had that ability. That is shifting now because 2020 really shifted us out of that. And Spirit has given us this big blank canvas, and they're giving us the paintbrushes and they're asking, what do you want? What do you want? Paint it. So it
Mhm.
makes perfect sense to me. Their co-creation is happening like never before in my experience as a spiritual teacher and as a medium. And the other thing that's happening is, oh, I just lost it. Where'd you go? Painting, da da da. Can't remember. It'll come back. So it's really important that, oh, I know. I was going to say this to you, John. So I'd said the same thing to my guides. They're always directing me. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm in a moment in time where there's something has to shift. I'm in that abyss. I'm like, oh my goodness, this has got to shift. And they said, well, you need to tell us what the heck you want. You're not being clear. We can't tell you how to
Mhm.
get there if you're not clear with us about what you want. And I was like, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, they're so right. So I
Yeah.
love everything you
I've
said.
Yeah, I've told this story before. Some of y'all may have heard it, but it's worth repeating and hearing again if you have. I was in a deep meditation in Mount Shasta in the hot springs, and I'm sitting there, and life was just good. It's just everything was abundant. I felt healthy. I was happy. Life was good. And so I was in this tub, just in just total gratitude, and I can feel my guides come in. I can feel this vibrational tone of guidance coming in. I just thank you for everything. I can't imagine this getting any better than this. And all those twists and turns that I've been on, they've led me to this. And I've listened, and look where I am now. And it's just, okay, I surrender. Just guide me to where you want to go next. Guide me
Yeah.
to where you want to go next. I want to be of service. Let me take this abundance that I'm so just humbly receiving, and let me be of service with it. And I kept getting back, well, that's wonderful. But what do you want to do? And I was asking, so tell me where to go next. Tell me what to do next. I'll do anything. They're like, well, what do you want to do?
Exactly.
And this conversation kept coming back and forth, back and forth. And I kept, no, but I want to be of service. But no, what do you want to do? No, but I want to be of service. And that was probably like a 30-minute ongoing conversation of me not landing what they were saying. What do you want? And then finally, it paused with a different message. Let us tell you, what if you have come to do everything that you were supposed to do? What if you already have been of service? What if you already did that thing that you thought was of service and that's been completed 100%? What would you want to do? I don't know, be of service? No. And we're going to give you a gift, but it's going to be something that may throw you off. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but it's the biggest gift that we can give you because we love you so much. Now, when you receive this gift, you might feel us not as available as we were or we have been, because things have to shift. And sure enough, for the next year and a half, I felt a shift in my connection to my guides. But the gift was, we love you so much that we want to give you the biggest gift you can receive as a human. We want to give you the gift of awe and wonder. No longer will you be able to psychically receive and future project and have everything mapped out for you in the way that you've typically perceived it. That is going to go away, because we want you to experience life in the way that you're meant to experience it, in its richness, not in the safety of knowing of what's coming next, but of the experience of becoming it. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And there's a couple of things I want to say to that, to everybody who's listening to that story too. Way you held service may have started becoming a detriment to yourself. Like when I was of service, there was a certain point where I was like, I can't be of service anymore, at a detriment to myself.
Right.
So when they were saying, you kept saying, I want to be of service, I want to be of service. And they were like, no, what do you want? I love that, because the way that you held service had to be shifted and changed, and the perspective of it and everything. The other thing I love that you said is, there were a lot of things that you said, and I can't remember the quotes because I don't remember words as much as vibration. But this is why I feel like SAS is so important, because when you're living in the ebb and the flow of life and you don't know what's to come next, you really have to be conscious to your unconscious thoughts and be in the moment to make choices that are really benefiting you to where you want to go, not where you came from. And then you have to continue, like when you remember who you are and you start living from that place of remembering who you are, you're making choices based on your identity, not the identity of the people around you or whatever happened in the past, or the divorce, or the losing the job, or whatever's going on. And then when you're igniting your soul, you're really in conversation with divinity, because you're acknowledging your light. That's what they were telling you, and I love that. And then you're just doing the dance that I think is so incredible, which makes every moment, even the hard ones. You and I both have had some hard moments in the past couple of weeks. And even in those moments, they're so magical.
Yeah.
And I'm not like me, if I'm crying and grieving, I was grieving last week. I've got to allow myself to have that. But in that there's just so much deliciousness. I'm not asking for it anymore, believe me, give me a break on it
There's
a
a
bit.
surrender, there's a cracking open that occurs, and a melting into a vulnerability that actually gives us an expanded access to some of those subconscious thoughts in the way that we relate to them.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it's so important. Something that's been coming up for me recently a lot, and it came in the deep meditation as well, is this concept where guidance was showing me where I'm surrendering beyond safety, where it's like that typically we act out of safety, safety, safety. And that if I'm to lead, that I will only be able to allow those to feel safe as to the point that I'm safe at. So it was really an invitation of deconstructing the need for safety and to being in this flow that you're talking about. And so go ahead, Marilyn.
No, I'm making notes. I'm just going to talk after you talk.
No, I wanted to ask you, how are you getting into that flow? Because that's a deep penetrating surrendering to get into a flow state like that.
And that's faith to me, however we define faith, John. And also, there's a couple of things I want to say. Like a long time ago, my guides taught me, I was in a meditation, they said, you're dreaming with brackets on. And I was like, what are you talking about? My dreams are huge. And they were like, nope, you've got brackets on your dream. What we have for you is so much bigger than you can imagine. You can't even imagine it because you've never had it. So take the brackets off, which led to surrender. So when I recognize I'm dreaming and I'm thinking of something big and great, and then I recognize that spirit has something even bigger for me, that's where I surrender. And people don't understand surrendering. Surrendering does not mean you give up. Surrendering does not mean like, all right, God, if you want me to be something I don't want to be, I'll let. God doesn't want you to be something you don't want to be. The universe wants you to be those dreams in your heart. They just may look different than they feel. So surrender to me is I have faith. I know that you have my back. I know that I have my back. It's interesting you bring up safety because the most important person we need to feel safe with is ourself. That's the most important thing. And for me, I've been doing that safety thing too. Like I remember my account a couple of months, like a month ago was dipping low. And I'm like, I'm not even going to worry about it anymore. Like I refuse to go to the fear. And because I don't go into the fear, so much more is available. Solution-based thinking is available. So that's the way I feel with everything that you're saying. But like for me to feel safe, especially somebody who's struggled with, and a lot of people are going to relate to this, a lot of trauma, a lot of trauma. It's me leaning into the unknown and the guides. And also for anybody who doesn't know their guides or doesn't really feel comfortable with the unknown, think about the times in your life when things worked out and relate that to a color. Relate that was my accent, Brooklyn accent. Relate that to a color. Relate that to a color or relate that to a shape. Feel it and know that that's the unknown that's been supporting you all along. And we all at this time in our life have those moments, John, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
all have those moments. So go
I'm
ahead.
noticing you're embodying more and more. Again, you're still very connected and still receive that guidance, but the embodiment of it and the way that you speak about it isn't more of a receive. It's a combination. It's a
Yeah.
combination.
Co-creation.
Yeah. How has that shifted your personal experience in your life?
Greatly, because I'm in constant communication. So I can be on the tennis court, which I'm always bitching about the people on the tennis court because they can be so nasty and mean. And somebody could say something to me that's so triggering. And I'm able in the moment to see the trigger. I call it spontaneous healing, know where it initiated from wherever I was in my grammar school or whatever. And then a guidance comes in right away and tells me why it's coming in, what it's teaching me at this moment. And then I'm able to either put it away if I can't deal with the situation, or I have such an understanding of it, I don't even need to, I release it. So to me, this is constant communication, but constant communication comes from living in the center of your being, living in your truth. Your guides, the universe, spirit, whatever you believe them to be, they are a reflection of your soul. That's why to me, it's so important to live in soul alignment. So important. And soul alignment for me, John, sometimes can be being really pissed off at something. That's okay.
Right.
But whether making the other person wrong, that's a different story. If I get into that, it's more about like, even if they do something that we could be at a party and be like, wow, that's messed up. It's still my work with myself. That's the constant alignment, the constant evolving. And I feel like this is my platform in life. I've been in business for over 14 years. My platform and my mission in life is to teach people that the dreams in their heart are meant to be lived. My platform is to teach you you're not alone in doing that there is guidance out there to guide you there, and that everybody has gifts. Everybody.
Yeah. Amazing. How has what's shifting for me also tremendously? And there's an adjustment in my body as I tune my nervous system from a lot of future projection or living in the future or striving towards something into very present moments and not really hooking on to particular outcomes, but the feelings of the outcomes, perhaps, or just being guided into a flow of something that's expanding that I may see a haze of it. It may be blurry, but it's a calling towards, but it's different than the way that I was projecting into the future before. What that does that have to do with soul alignment? Because I know it must.
It does. You know, it's interesting because I think we're all experiencing this right now, especially with this time period. Because in every moment, let me ask you this, John. In every moment that you're making a choice, whether you can see the future or not, do you feel aligned with your soul when you're making those choices?
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell when I'm not and my body hurts and the responses come back. The response rate, the feedback loop is happening so quickly when I'm out of soul alignment. And
And
then when I get back on, or if I'm on, it just feels just right. But my body's acclimating to it, the nervous system and the agitation that comes up, that intelligence is helping me shift to a sympathetic reaction, the fight or flight response,
yeah,
into a more intelligent type of approach. But it's a process, and it hasn't been easy to go through it solo without the blueprints of the framework. That's why I'm so excited that you're bringing this teaching and
yeah.
this course to our community, because it's going to help with some of those experiences that I know that I'm having. Um, and also help with the facilitation of the grace of how we create as well.
Yeah, and so it's really it's the same thing with me. Like when I'm out of alignment, I can feel it physically, and then it
Mhm.
doesn't take as long to get back in. You know, it's like, oh wait, that's one of those
Right.
moments. Whoa, I'm acting out of habit. This isn't who I am. Or I'm going to consciously have, 3 glasses of wine tonight. Say I decide to do something like that. I don't usually drink that much. So, but just say I said, okay, I'm going to eat what I want to eat and I'm going to drink wine because I'm feeling crappy. That's not really aligned with my soul these days, but it's what I'm choosing to do. It doesn't throw you down the rabbit hole. You're making conscious
Right.
choices. And then the other thing that I like what you said is that, we don't really, I have an idea of where I want to go. I'm definitely working with visualizations and meditations and stuff, but it's more important to know how I feel today and about the decisions I'm making. And then if something comes into my path, if it's not aligned with where I want to go, I've got to say no. So many people don't know how to say no to things. They're
Mhm.
constantly saying yes to things out of habit that are knocking them out of alignment.
Or
So I
fear of
hope that
missing
answers
out.
your question. What?
It does, or the fear of missing out. We're making decisions out of fear that we're going to miss an opportunity, the once in a lifetime opportunity. It's like, give me a break. Give me a
Exactly.
break. I used to hear that so many times. It's a once in a lifetime trip of a lifetime. It's like, no,
Exactly.
no. And that all those beliefs are being reworked because that's not the truth. Um, a big one that's coming up for me also in the soul alignments, and you so nailed it earlier, but I want to bring it back into focus, is that we're not thinking large enough. We have the brackets on, and there's an expansion that wants to happen. If things aren't necessarily moving forward, it's not that we're maybe off path, but perhaps we're not allowing, we're containing the energy that wants to flow in for us and to us and through us, in a way that needs to grow. So sometimes why things aren't popping is because it's also asking you to think, to receive, not necessarily think, but to be in a place where we allow that creative flow to bring something else that it's outside of that myopic, that really narrow scope that we think that it has to land on.
Totally. That's the surrender part of not expecting it to be the way it is. When I say to people, the dreams in your heart are meant to be lived, most everybody can go to a vision and they're like, yeah, but I didn't get it. Well, you're holding on to something that is not as big as you are these days. There's something bigger and greater for you. But that feeling that that dream has for us, that inspiration that connects in your spirit, that creativity, whatever you want to call it, that abundance, that fun, that is what's available. That's what our dreams make us feel. And that's what spirit wants us living in alignment with and making choices from. And we're never off our path. And I know you know that. We are never, even if we're doing things that are not good for our bodies, we can't look at it as we got off the path. We have to look at it as we're not making the best choices that are aligned with us. Okay, let's make better
Mhm.
choices. So that spirit taught me that. And I don't know that everybody agrees with it, but to me, it made a lot of sense. So it wasn't like, oh my goodness, I got to get back to my path. It was like, no, you're on your path. Just get with it, you know?
I agree. I agree. And even if it seems like a stumble, like a wrong turn and all that, there's love, there's information, there is an acclamation that's happening through our consciousness, through our subconscious, making something conscious that was buried before. And even that, so the judgment of right and wrong wrong path or not. It's like, oh no, this was for me. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to get back on this other path. It flows in. But the compassion and the awareness, again, when we go into awareness of that was a gift and actually for us, into making ourselves wrong and re-imprinting the limiting belief because we made ourselves wrong, it's a huge shift in consciousness.
So can you see everything you're talking about? That goes back to subconscious thinking. How are you thinking about yourself? How are you talking to yourself? Are you forgiving yourself? Are you beating yourself up? Now we're back to the subconscious thinking. Then we're
Right.
remembering who we are. Like, wait a second. No, I really am this good person. I really do believe that I'm meant to do these things. That was just a wrong, I don't call them wrong turns. That was a character building moment. All right. Wow. I just learned something incredible. Now I've just lit up another part of myself because now I realize I have courage and I'm not going to let anybody put me down. Now I feel even better. Now I'm in soul ignition. Now the universe is like, wow, it's getting brighter and brighter out here. We've got even more for you. So everything you're talking about is that cycle that brings us back. That's why this is so important to me, this work. It really is. There's something
And
else you said.
what you also, oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah. What
No,
else
I
did I
was just
say?
going to I was going to share a story about, I like what you said, John, and I like to teach through story, and I know you do too. Like, think about last week, my cat got sick, as you know the story. You don't know, but you knew that he passed away. I want to just give a quick story. So my guides, he was sick on a Sunday. My guides kept saying, it's okay, it's okay. I didn't want to bring him to emergency because I had such a bad experience with emergency. And they were like, it's okay, it's okay. And I kept looking at him and I was realizing, he didn't look sick at all because he's a big chubby cat. He was big, really big. And I was like, but something's wrong. And they were like, no, it's okay. So the next morning I got him into the neighborhood vet. And thank goodness I did, because of that experience. Had I gone, I had to go to emergency that night. If I had went to emergency, I would have had to wait 5 hours. I would have not been able to let him go the way that I let him go. I would have had to do it in emergency. I would have never been able to bring him home, have him with me for 5 hours the next day, transition him in the private vet's office without the craziness of emergency. So my guides all along were telling me it was okay. And at one point I was like, why did you say that? He was dying.
Mm.
And then it wasn't until I went through that whole experience. And then I was blaming, like, oh my goodness, how did I not see it? And my vet was like, the cat looks healthy. It's just his blood work and everything. But it was my experience. Like, your guides will tell you to do something and they're always protecting you. They're always having your back. So that's why choices are so important. I made a conscious choice with my guides in the moment. And I knew, even when I was like, why did you say it was okay? Right away dropped in why they did what they did. Because I would have never been able to say goodbye to my cat the way that I said goodbye to my cat and have that many hours with him.
Wow.
So,
Amazing.
so and also the points where we go, like we go and take a course, or we go and study with a teacher, and maybe that teacher doesn't turn out to be who we want it to be. They're always when you're in alignment with your soul and you're responding truthfully, that experience is such a character building moment, and it's getting you ready for something bigger and greater. Because so many people think they're ready for the bigger and greater, but when that moment comes, they sabotage it.
Yeah.
So these character building moments are helping them. So what were
Yeah.
you going to say? I'm sorry.
I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. It's wonderful. And I love this story about, again, the guidance and the love that shows up for us and how that really comes again for us. It keeps showing up for us. So one of my favorite sayings that I've been saying it came up over the last year, and I'm sharing just jokingly with a lot of people. And again, some of y'all have heard this, but really owning it as well, as God loves me. And so people, oh, you're so lucky, you have an amazing life. It's like things will show up for you. It's like, yeah, God loves me, of course. But then other things started unfolding and other things started coming out that I wasn't expecting. That was beyond those things that I had planned or what I had hoped for. And I started saying, it's like, you know what? I know God loves me, but I didn't know he loved me this much.
Yeah.
Right. And that's another surrender into receiving.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Then we think like, oh, there was so much I was going to say, but I'm going to let that go. So anyway, I love that you said that, John. And that's the unconscious thinking that some of us hold the belief that God doesn't love us. Or if we were raised in Catholic religions, like I have nothing against Catholicism, speaking poorly of it. I'm actually very grateful that I was raised in the spirituality I was raised in. But the nuns were friggin' mean to me when I was in grammar school. And if I believed them over myself, I would think that God didn't love me.
Mm.
So when we start getting back into alignment and remembering who we are, I was a very spiritual kid. I was spiritual from the word go, but I was told I was bad. And then when we start remembering and then we start like talking to ourselves better, I teach how to, start talking to yourself in a better way. And then you start like, when you remember who you are, you remember the fun you used to have, and you start lighting that up, then you just want more of that in your life. And then like people say, you're lucky because you're living that joy. So more joy comes in. You're living in gratitude, more gratitude comes in.
Right. It's
As much
wonderful.
as things sometimes get difficult, I'm like, believe me, I'm blessed. I have
Mhm.
every right to cry when I want to cry, but I know that I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's
I like that. There was
wonderful.
something else I was going to say, but I'll let that go. I don't remember where it is.
Linda had a question, and then Linda, thank you for writing it because it's so important. So Linda's asking, how do we hear our guides? And I want to add to it, how do we hear our soul? How do we hear that soul calling? Because we're talking, following the guides, and the guides are with us, and we receive these synchronicistics nudges along the way. How do we pay attention? How do we tune in?
So, Linda, I'm reading, but thank you, Gia, by the way. I'm reading Gia. The SAS experience is worth it. Thanks, Gia. How do we learn to hear our guides through meditation or something else and then like tune into it and hear our soul? So, I'm going to answer this question. What usually is keeping people from hearing their guides is mind chatter. They think they're not hearing their guides because they haven't worked that tool out. They haven't worked that muscle out. So they may be trying like one exercise and they're not realizing that their guides are talking to them because they have this mind chatter that is negating the conversation of their guides.
Mhm.
So I teach in a very good way where you get to know the energy of your guides, or you don't wait for the symbol, you pick a symbol. You don't wait for the guide, you pick a guide. There's a lot of ways that I teach. But then, so it's mind chatter. So that's the subconscious thinking. You want to recognize, what are your thoughts? What are your guides' thoughts? They have different energy. They have different vibration. I've been channeling for over 14, 15 years now. And only about 3, 4 years ago, they let me understand that they were direct reflections of my soul. So when you're communicating with your guide, you're communicating with your soul. It's the same exact thing because they have our highest and greatest for us at all times. So to me, when I'm communicating, my guides stand outside of me. Some people's guides stand inside. When I'm communicating to the guide in front of me, I know that she is holding a mirror up to the light in my soul, answering from that place, answering from my highest truth and my highest alignment.
I
So
love
Linda,
that.
what I would say to you is you don't join a gym, right? And just like I keep saying this to my members in membership because it's so they laugh so hard. You don't join a gym and just look at the machines, right? And get a six pack. You have to constantly work at it. But when you work at it, it gets easier and easier and easier. So I can guarantee you, sweetie, everybody, the guides are communicating with every single one of you. Nobody is less gifted than another. That's an antiquated view that a lot of mediums that I studied with used to believe, that they were more gifted than everybody else in the room.
Mhm.
Um, that's not true. But if you're just struggling with it, it's probably your own. You're negating what they're telling you or what you're feeling, and you're struggling with it. Let me know, honey, if that helps you.
That's wonderful. So, Marilyn, why are you so excited to teach this now?
Because I'm tired of seeing people miserable.
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
tired of seeing people unhappy. I'm tired of seeing people doing the hamster wheel of life, thinking they can never get off it, that they're stuck, that they're trapped, that they don't have freedom. I'm tired of seeing people ignore themselves and give more credit to other people, that
Mm.
other people's words and and how they identify with them is more important than their own identity. You know why else I'm teaching this, John? Because I've struggled with it for so long. You and I've had my the family conversations, and I will not let anybody identify me anymore or tell me who I am. And that's what I want for everybody else. I want everybody else to stand in the power of their knowing and their being, and to know that every single one of us is gifted. Every single one of us has the energy and the wisdom inside of them. So that's why it's important to me now.
So
Plus,
wonderful.
I've never stayed in a job that I was miserable in. I've never stayed in a relationship I was miserable in. Even if I'm alone, I've been alone for a while. I'd rather be alone than, man, the people I'm meeting, I'm like, stay over there. I don't want to go anywhere near you. There was one guy I met recently. I was like, he's cute playing tennis. I'm like, he's really cute. But I sit back and I observe. Yeah, that was a head case.
Mhm.
Fade out of that one. So anyway, that's why I want to teach people, because I don't believe that you're meant to be miserable.
Beautiful. Well, let's get y'all this offer with Marilyn and what you're bringing through every time is just like you just keep doing this and this and this
Thank
and
you.
uploading, but grounding it in also and getting us that connection to spirit simultaneously. It's so beautiful. Y'all, the special offer of Marilyn is something that I highly encourage you to participate in. But for your benefit, let's go through the special offer. April, will you put the link in the chat box, please? Y'all click, April's about to put the link in the chat box. Click on the link or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Marilyn24 and it'll take you to that same link. Let me see. I don't see April posting it quite just yet.
She did
There
post
it is.
it. It's also
Voila.
MarilynAlauria.com/BTO.
Okay, perfect. So click on the link and Marilyn, guide us through what everybody's going to receive when they join.
Yeah. So John knows most telesummits, I never do anything live because usually to work with me live, it's expensive. All right. We'll just leave it at that.
I
So
remember when you stopped doing private sessions. I remember Marilyn's like, I'm going to stop doing private sessions. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm increasing my rates astronomically, but something's got to shift. Anyway.
And they did, and
Yeah.
it did. So this is a really incredible live experience with me and some coaches. And what you're going to do is there's a free Facebook. You have to obviously pay. I don't do free Facebook groups. I don't do anything free like that anymore. So you'll get into a Facebook group and there's going to be some laser coaching. I'm going to be doing some group reading calls. There's a lot of stuff going on before the actual program starts. So I would say get in there now because the actual program is starting on the 18th. What you're going to do is you're going to be taught for 4 days, you're going to be taught the live pillar lessons. So day 1 is subconscious thinking. I'm going to teach you live. I teach you live for about 15-20 minutes, and then I take questions. But it's such an incredible, we've done this experience 3 times already, and it's blowing people like socks off. So, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every moment of it. So then I teach like the first 15 minutes about subconscious thinking, what I want you to do, your technique, your tool, blah, blah, blah. And then for the rest of the time, I take any questions or I just guide you and I support you and I help you. And then we give you homework and you go. And the thing about the homework is you don't need to sit down and study. You're supposed to take it out in your life because that's where change happens. So you'll go out and do the thing that I ask you to do. You'll come back and comment on the homework post. It's very interactive. We're very active in the group and the group is very active. It's a very safe group because I don't put up with any of the nonsense. And then somebody wins a prize because we just like to pick people and give something out and that you're participating. It's great. Then you learn alignment with your soul. You're going to learn something special, go out and do it and then come back. And then you're going to learn soul ignition and then synchronicity. But in this week, you're also going to get, besides coaching and besides me doing a readings call, you're going to get a soul session with me. And this is an incredible experience and I'm saying this just because people are telling me. I'm not like, oh yeah, look at me. But it is really a lot of fun and it's really them. You're going to go in and we're going to do a channel session together. So I'm going to teach you how to channel in my way, which is very experiential. You're not listening to me lecture. We are getting into the sandbox together and building the castles. And it's a really fun experience. So there's so much that goes on and it's $97. So the reason we do this is because 1, I friggin' love it. 2, it's such a great opportunity for you to get a life-changing experience in a week. And 3, it's an opportunity to learn the SAS pillar system, which is really a part of a bigger program that I have. But people, there, you can read the testimonials on there. So you're really going to love it. The other thing you're going to get is a bonus class. And this class is amazing. So you could start with it now. It's Live Your Best Life Yet Using a Day in the Life, right? So this class, they're 15-minute modules because I do everything short, because nobody's got the friggin' time, right? I can't believe you all stay on here with me now. I'm like, yeah. So anyway, it's 15-minute modules you're going to take into a meditation of a year from now and see your life. And then 9 months, 6 months, 3 months. Day in the life changes your life because it gets you clear. A lot of people struggle with what they want, what their dreams are. They're afraid to admit their dreams to themselves. They think they're too old. They think they have to get out of debt before they do this, or they have to meet the woman of their life, whatever the reason is. And this class is such a great experiential experience where you're living the meditation, you're going through it with me, and then you're like, and this isn't a live class, it's a digital class, and then you're doing the exercise, the written journal exercise. So that is the SAS experience. It's very hard for me to tell you everything that's in it because we're going to do lives, we're going to do coaching. I'm going to have other coaches that have been in my programs before. So there's a lot going on. It's going to be action packed. And if you can't make the live, and then I'll stop talking. If you can't make the live, do not worry about it. There's so many people that didn't make the live and they still watched it and they did not feel like they weren't part of it because of the homework assignments, because we have everything in email. It's super organized. So you get everything in email as well as the Facebook page, but you do have to watch the lives on the Facebook page. I think at the very end, we put it on one page for you, but I can't remember. So just know you have to be comfortable with Facebook. All right. And
That's
that's
amazing.
$97. And I really want you guys to join me because I friggin' love this thing.
And you're amazing at it. Marilyn teaching is a whole nother level of receiving and being an experience and just feeling and the different expressions of emotion. It's like nothing's held back, which is you're wonderful in the way that you teach and so nurturing at the same time. But again, not holding into any BS coming into the field. It's just it can't.
I kick a little butt. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And the other thing too is I don't do free Facebook groups. I only do things where people have skin in the game. Now, I'll go live on my business page at times, but the reason is because I find that when people they're like, yeah, I'm ready. I want to do this. And I'm like meeting them too. And I really care about where you're at and what you're doing. So I'm posting with you. I'm commenting. We have coaches in there that comment too. But we also ask you to fill out a Google Doc where we want to get to know you. So it's just a really great experience where we're going to evolve together. And I care about the people in my programs a great deal. And I just want to see success for them. Sorry, John, I didn't mean to. I'm very passionate about this program. I think you can tell.
I can
Liz
tell
just
it's
signed
amazing.
up.
So
Sorry.
let's do it. Yes, you did. Other people are signing up also. So it's 9 live days plus the bonus, which is a pre-record to Prime. $97, y'all. This is amazing.
It's actually a little bit more than 9 days, only because we have those pre-bonus things. So if you join now, you're going to get in there and get some more lives with that. Right. I think it's actually like 7 live days in a row, though we take Sundays off because I always take Sundays off. I'm also going to give you a channeling exercise to do on your own. There's a lot where you're going to be really engaged, but not overwhelming. It's very organized. So you're not overwhelmed. Like, what the?
Marilyn, no, this is huge because that whole soul alignment piece is truly what's coming online. It just is. It's what's awakening in us. And if y'all are feeling not comfortable, not on your path, that's the shift that's happening for all of humanity, not just for a certain people who might be experiencing something. We're all going into that empathetic awareness of the calibration of that calling within us. So I'm impressed, Marilyn. And I don't say that a lot. This is impressive. And for $97, y'all, this is golden. I hope y'all take advantage of it.
Yeah, Beth, I'll answer the times and days of the calls. I also want to answer Ilona's question because this is for anybody who does, it's not about having a career. So she says, what do you do if all passion and dreams have gone away? I don't want anything. We just had somebody recently in the same boat and she was like, I don't know why I'm buying this program because she bought another program for me and she, which was more expensive. And she said, well, it's not expensive. It was an investment because expensive isn't the thing. And she said, my husband thinks you're a charlatan. And she went through the entire thing, didn't want a career. That's what we had. A few people weren't about a career. And the thing that she wrote at the end about how life-changing of an experience it was, because it helped her to remember who she was, helped her to align who she was, helped her to stand in the power of who she was, to not make excuses anymore or apologize. And she was a strong woman. She's like, I don't need anything. I've got a great life. And so for anybody who is in that place where it's not about a business, it's about living your best life yet. It's about living in your joy. So I just wanted to answer that. The calls, the Facebook Lives are usually around 12 noon or 1 p.m. Pacific time. But like I said, I really would not worry about that because we have had people that could not make them. And they're 12 noon Pacific time. I've made them this time around, except for I think the soul session might be different. Don't worry about it because you will still participate and we will still be there for you. So don't feel like, oh my goodness, we had people, in Europe and stuff. Some people get on the call at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, God bless you, man. I don't want to talk to anybody after 7 p.m., but they do.
Again, y'all, it's $97. Amazing opportunity to work with Marilyn. And again, I really believe that this is next level work and awareness, and to work with the subconscious in that way. Science is catching up with the neuroscience and the beliefs and how we reprogram the neural pathways. And
Yes.
this is all coming in this way that y'all have felt it forever in your heart, but it wasn't taught in a way that we can actually hack through it. Again, in alignment with the truth of who we are. And I keep getting that message over and over. So many messages coming through. And this one in particular, very strong. Remember who you are. As anything comes up, if any challenge comes up, as an opportunity comes up, if we hesitate, it's like, remember, you can't afford it. You think it's too much. You think it's remember who you are. And you've said that several times during today's call, and that clarion call couldn't be any louder for me now. And that, if it's loud for me, I know it's reverberating to you guys at the very least, and that you guys are picking up on the message. So take advantage of this course. Again, $97. The link is in the chat box, again, at the very top or at the very bottom right now. And participate. A whole bunch more people are showing up, Marilyn. I know you're reading the questions. While you get to the next question, did you see one that you wanted to pick up?
I'll pick one real quick. But by the way, Renee, it's okay. The 24th is the day we're going to do the soul session. Then I think I'm doing readings on the 25th. So it'll be like a bonus reading stuff. And my readings are really, I teach people, when I do readings, I teach people how to pay attention so they get a reading if their reading doesn't get called, Don't worry about that. But we will be taking the material down probably like the 29th. So you have to participate in the experience, because we want people having action-oriented results. So it will be okay, Renee, for that particular day. You'll have a little time to catch up, sweetie, but I hope you can join us, and you will have time. But do know that the material does come down. You do not get to own the SAS material. You do get to own the digital class, the day in life. Okay. I hope
Okay,
that's
wonderful.
clear. No, I didn't. What?
I'll go to some people now. I'm going to go to some live callers.
Go.
Let's go to live callers. I want to get into calls because a lot of people have their hands raised and want to get into it. So again, y'all, the offer is in the chat box, or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Marilyn24. It's in there as well.
Is it under your thing, John? Because we did it under our thing. So were you able to?
We did, but we still have it. We still have a pretty link for it. Absolutely.
Oh, I love you.
100%.
Okay.
We have it on there.
I know how to work Zoom, so I annoy John. Go ahead, John. Go to a call.
He's trying to do my job for me. I can hang up now. You can just take over. I'm kidding. I want to hang out with you. Marilyn and I are friends. We've barely spoken in the last 2 months. It's crazy. Anyway, let's go to live caller. First caller, Pat. Let's get you to unmute, please.
Oh, thank you so much, Marilyn. Yeah.
Hi, Pat.
Wow, I'm feeling the frequencies coming into the earth. I'm so sensitive to this, and I'm feeling very lightheaded, and it comes and goes and fluctuates, and I feel like I'm integrating new codes into my being.
So I love that, Pat. You have a male behind you as well. I don't know if you have a husband that's passed or a father figure, but it's definitely from the male father side of the family.
Oh.
And I just want to let you know that your throat chakra is very activated. And
Yes.
this is, so the codes that you're getting, I want you to start playing with them with sound.
Okay.
So if you start translating them into sound, it may help you ground a little bit more. But what Spirit is saying is that this is something you don't want to push off, but you are allowed to, I don't like the word contract, but I'm going to use it for this word. You are allowed to say to them, you can come in from 2 to 4 on Monday, and that's it. Because you need to be able to work with them in a way where you're saying to them, this is when I'm ready to work. When I'm in a bath, I'm ready to work with you. That's it. And then they can't just bring it in when they want to bring it in. They're doing that because they're getting your attention and you're plugged in. but they recognize your circuit system can short out. You could feel you have to still live the practical life. So I want you to set an intention with them. This is when you can come to me. But when you say that they can come to you, you need to actually make the space for them to come through. Okay.
So who am I talking to? My soul team?
I feel like it's a little bit more than that. So I would do an injustice if I was to define what your team was. So there are definitely direct reflectors of your soul, but I feel like they're from another dimensional time. They all are, right? But what they're doing is they're trying to help you bring healing into the consciousness of the earth plane, as well as the physical earth plane as well. When you're getting these activations, I would love for you to have a live plant or a tree or something in your house, or if you can go out if it's not too cold. And if you touch nature when you're getting the activations, you're going to have even more of a powerful experience.
And I do. I hug trees. I go out and I tone. I have a toning bowl and I send love to humanity and Mother Earth every day. And I feel like I'm holding energy for the earth too. Yeah.
Right. But I want you definitely using your voice too, because it's getting stuck in the thyroid area for me. Now, I'm not a medical intuitive and I don't do medical.
Okay.
But what I'm saying to you is that they want you using your voice because the activations, the codes, actually with your vibration of your voice, and you may just make sound. That's it. There's something else that wants to come through that.
And I do. I try to speak. I try to speak and do mantras and everything during the day.
You're supposed to do your own thing, honey.
Okay.
So it's not somebody else's words.
No.
It's your own. Okay. But
No.
can you just make sounds too? Just try to make sounds. Have you done that?
Yeah, I have. Like Jim Donovan, he shares some sounds,
No, but I want them to be your sounds.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I want you to feel a frequency and then just make a sound.
Okay. Make a sound, my own sound. Not
John,
a mantra. Not a mantra.
No, it's not to say that the mantras are bad. They're just asking that you use your own voice and your own sound because you're coming out with your own language. They don't want you labeling it with someone else.
I have to say, why the mantra? What's in the mantra that you're not? Because typically I find that people use mantras because they're trying to access something outside of themselves.
Okay. Like I'll say Om Shan Shanti.
Why?
Om Mani Padme Hum.
It's beautiful, but why?
Just Om, as a balancing, a balancing energy.
And if it comes from your heart, from your expression, I think it'll carry more power. Whenever we use some of those mantras, we're acquiescing to a system that came from someone else. And Marilyn, I think what you're saying is spot on. By activating your unique voice, your light, your light path, your light is the healing balm that you're hoping to project. But as you're doing the mantras and doing these other things, you're taking a diffused light that many people are sharing beautifully, but your calling is to use yours.
Okay, so I just use mine. And the 2 to 4, is this a time during the day you're talking about? Or?
Well, it's a time that you choose, but yes, you would say to your guides, you can only come in, like my guides knew when I first started, I'm like, you can't just come up to me in a supermarket and start talking to me and telling me somebody's dead loved one is next to them. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry.
No.
All right, Pat, thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you so much, both of you. I love you. Thank you.
Me too. What a sweetheart. All right, let's go to our next caller. Karen, let's get you to unmute, please.
Hi.
Hi, Karen.
Oh my, I usually only catch like replays, and I'm like, because it's usually my nap time, and I'm like, wake up, wake up, wake up. I'm like, I feel like I just won the lottery. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to be here with you. So grateful.
We're grateful you're here.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
Are you writing, Karen, at all?
Pardon?
Are you writing at all?
Probably not as much as I should. I'm on workman's comp and I go through phases where I write and I don't write. I have my thing here. I actually do kind of like a Pictionary kind of thing.
Good, because I was just going to say that you're clairvoyant as well. So you need to open up your clairvoyancy. But I want to hear your question. But before you ask your question, I want to just show somebody the subconscious thinking, use her as a teaching moment. She said, not as much as I should be. That's a moment where there's something in there that's like disciplining her. It's okay, Karen. You're writing the way you need to write, unless unless you think you're doing something like sitting on, and whatever. I don't need to get that conversation
Yeah.
out. What's your question?
I'm everything in my life is like up in the air, like the sticks and plates, and they're all waiting to crash down. So pick one and go with it. I'll just go with, am I on the right path? I do human design readings, and I read fingerprints and hands as a way to show people how special they are and how much more they can do with their life. And I'm hoping, I'm so grateful to have a job, and I'm so grateful that they fixed me, from surgery and stuff from my fall. But I'm hoping to be able to work for myself.
Yeah,
and
you
help
will.
other people and be in co-creation with the universe and God.
So what's happening for you, this is why you're clairvoyant too, and I want you really to dive into that. And the bridge job that you have, because of the experience that you had where you got sick or you fell and you got hurt, that has put a little bit of fear inside of you that, what happens if I'm working for myself and something like that happens again, or something stops me in my tracks again? How am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to really be able to pay the bills and really take care of myself? It really set a little trauma in your body. And what I'm going to tell you though, is you are so gifted, not only in human design, in compassionate listening to people and being able to see clearly for them. You also have healing energy in your hands, and you need to start using it more. So it's going to be really what's just happening here is just a little interrupt, a little disruption, because you had a hard experience. But what I want you to do, one thing my guides taught me is stop making decisions from where I came from, make choices to where I want to go. Yeah. And what that means, sweetie, is that I want your career front and center. It's great you have a bridge job, great it's paying the bills. That is not who you are though. Mm-hmm. And I want you knowing that you're going to be provided for and taken care of. And if you have to look into disability or insurance or something that's going to make you feel safe, do that. And let that be part of your money that comes to you through the human design work. But I'm going to tell you something else to you real quick, Karen, that I just said recently to my community. Think about all the people that have helped you on your path. If they stayed hidden, you wouldn't be where you are now. You staying hidden is keeping all those. I feel like you have such a way of not judging people when you talk to them and listen to them. You're so good at seeing, like just being loving and seeing people and accepting people. You would be doing such a disservice for so many people out there that are waiting for your money, your energy, your money, what the heck, your energy, your vibration, your abundance. John. And go ahead, Karen.
Thank you for such great, beautiful confirmation, because it feels true in my heart.
Good.
When I put myself out there, will I be more visible? People seem to want me to work on them for free, which is why I work for other people for peanuts. And it's in my presence. It's all over my body, my healing. And so whoever's in my presence is getting a gift anyway, which is fine.
So I just want to say something, no, because that's a belief system that you have that's antiquated, that you need to rewrite, that when you have these gifts, you're supposed to give them away for free. And I know people use, what'd you say?
I don't want to anymore.
Right. So just rewrite it, and you can rewrite it in the moment. Write something that is believable for you. I'm worthy of this. I know John will probably have a really good answer for this, because he's really good when it comes to financial scarcity or lack or fear. But one thing I want to say real quick, like people used to say to me, I don't get this anymore because I'm not in that like that mindset is not mine. It's like, I value what I do. And it's okay that you do, Karen. A lot of people struggle with this. So please know I'm not judging this at all.
No, not at all.
But when people would say to me, Jesus didn't charge, I'm like, yeah, Jesus was a miracle worker, man. He could make millions like that. He can make one fish, like 40 loaves of bread. Right. So that's what I want to offer up to you. But I know John's going to have something. And sweetie, you're in a normal struggle, but just let's rewrite it, because it's holding you back from helping people. And no, I'm sorry. They have to pay for your service. Your service.
Someone asked, and I had no problem. I told them exactly what it was. She gulped, and she was like, and I'm like,
But there is
a good test, Karen.
If she hires me, she'll hire me. If not, then that's okay. But I know if I put my value out, they will value it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But you
well,
have
and
to
you have to
value
go beyond
yourself.
just knowing it. You have to go beyond just knowing it and embodying it, caring. And that's the part. So the mental aspect is there. I'm going to mute you for a second because we're going to another caller. But I did want to give you this. There's a couple of messages that are coming through. One is don't be afraid to make a mistake.
Mm.
Don't be, and I think that's going to land for you. You'll understand. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but again, it's not really a mistake. It's a platform for something else, even character building sometimes, or even realizing where I'm in a density, not realizing it, but something is evolving from it because it wants to come up, because my intention is truly love. And I know that. I have no doubt. So if I fumble and make a mistake in something, it's like, oh, that's calibrating me towards my truth. So be okay making a mistake. Also, a quick story, and this, someone shared this with me, and it's so beautiful. There's energy output as currency. And so think of energy as money. So as you're gifting away, and all of us in different relationships and different aspects, be aware of this. There's those places where we invest our energy in, and we realize, we know, we're aware that it's draining the bank account. We're aware that we're paying for the Hulu subscription, but we're not watching any episodes, but we keep paying over and over and over. And we're aware that that's deteriorating. Then there's the currencies where we know we're investing, and there's like a reciprocation coming in. And that's something it's good at, know the difference between those two. And then there's the energy where we're putting something in and it may be draining now, but we know that it's an investment in the future. And there's an opportunity that wants to expand as well. Know the difference. Be conscious with your critical mind of where the bank account is draining through those Hulu payments. Cut those out and start building on the other two, which is where your soul is calling you to. So I encourage that you apply that awareness into your life, and it's going to help you to evolve. And again, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Thank you, Karen. Let's go to another caller now, Marilyn. I want to call to...
You and I need to do a special conversation around what Karen is bringing up. I don't want to continue on with it, but a lot of people struggle with this. So I'm just throwing it out there. Because there's a lot more I want to say about that. So I'm like, we're going to have a special conversation around that. Okay, go ahead.
That's a big problem. All right, let's go next caller. Beth, let's go to you. Beth Zemichow, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You did it perfectly. Very good. That's actually challenging to do.
I wasn't afraid to make a mistake.
Hi, Beth.
Hi. I just want to let you know I've heard you speak before, Marilyn. Also, I've heard you say you're living in Marin, which is where I live too. So.
Oh, where do you live? Oh, you don't have to say.
I was living in Corte Madera. I'm on Smith Ranch Road now in San Rafael.
Oh, okay.
I used to live in Fairfax also, so interesting.
That's right. I remember you saying that too as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, I actually wouldn't mind just going off whatever you think. I could say something, but I value your opinion so highly that
yeah, I don't mind that. So Beth, right away, I feel like my heart is like beating. It's going, and it's like there's a lot of empathic energy with you, but I also feel like you've been sucking stuff back that is, it just feels to me like there's an energy inside your heart that's just ready to explode. It's ready to grow. It's ready to expand. It's ready to be. And then I feel like you have a clairaudient ability, which is clear hearing. And I feel like it might be your right side since they're doing my left ear. And I feel like this is also in speaking, like you have the ability to speak or motivate people through speaking, motivate through people through story they say that she's really, really good at that. So I feel like you're marrying your heart chakra, your throat chakra, which is your truth center, and you are living fairly in alignment, if not in alignment with your truth. It's just about having the courage to take the action, or there may have been a few missteps about going forward with it. I do feel like you may move again. So I don't know if you want to, but that is something that I'm going to offer up to you. But most importantly, I feel like you need to be seen. Like there is something that you need to have more visibility out there in the world, because there's something that you're going to bring out into the world, which I do feel like you're gifted through storytelling, which could be speaking through storytelling. And the world needs that. I also feel like you're a leader, a very strong leader. They keep showing me, I know where Smith Ranch Road is. I don't really know where that is, but I'm just seeing the trees and the hiking trails and how nature is super important to you. I feel like you're in a really good place. I also feel like I'd love for you to play with a little bit of art, because it's just going to open up some channels inside of you that is going to be really interesting in the coming year. And I feel like you have a lot of stuff lined up for you up until November. I don't like usually doing future anymore, but I'm doing it with you. And it's really important that you get very specific about how you're spending your time, who you're spending your time in, and what you're doing. But you have some type of story that needs to be shared. And I don't know if this is what you want to be doing, but this is something Spirit is offering up to you.
Oh gosh, I thank you very much. I feel all that. I feel that. I feel like there's, like I always say, there's so much potential here. It's just getting it out. And I do work with people, but but I haven't explored what you're saying exactly. No.
Are you
And
a healer or a therapist or something? Because you have really good abilities in that. You also have energy coming in behind you. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
I work with people in their bodies, and I teach all kinds of classes, and I do some guided meditation at the end of this. Some of them, I have private clients. I work with a lot of seniors as well.
Yeah, you need to get out in a bigger way, sweetie, because the work that you do is really good.
Mhm.
Do you
I
want to
mean,
get out in a bigger way?
I don't know how to do that, or maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe whatever the blocks are. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I feel like there's this huge support system behind you that is just guiding you and helping you. So remember I said do the next indicated step, or just do the next thing. Maybe let's not worry about what it's supposed to look like, but just being like, all right, I invite in getting it out in a bigger way. Just show me how. What do I need to do today? And sit with that and see if you're comfortable with it. And it could be just writing a book about how you heal, or it could be getting your meditations out on recordings. It's whatever's comfortable for you, but I still feel that there's a brightness that needs to get out. John, what are you picking up? I don't know who Rachel is, but there's a Rachel around you or coming into your life that I feel is going to be beneficial to you. So I'm just going to give you that name.
I love that name. Thank you.
Yeah, what I get is that it's Beth, it's about you expressing what you need and what you want and really being forward with it instead of holding it back, because you hold so much for everybody else that you can navigate it, you can guide it, and you've got yourself. But you expressing what you want and what you need and putting it out into the world, you don't have to know how those things are going to show up for that bigger picture. Again, take the brackets off, like Marilyn said earlier in the call, and allow the synchronicity to show up for you as you speak it, as you paint your canvas into the world with your voice and what it is that you want to build. So expression for you of what you want to create, how you want to build it, how you want to grow, what you want to receive. And don't just think in terms of career, think of terms of the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
And that will start amplifying. Yeah.
It's funny, John, because I've said that to a few people. I don't build a career, I build a lifestyle. And my career is my lifestyle. The only thing I'm going to say, I'm going to agree with him, and I know we have to move on, but Beth, I feel like there's a part of you that's living, just play with the part of you that may be wanting to live small. That's all. It's none of this is judgment, honey. I want to just see you living the biggest, greatest. I feel like you already are offering so much, but there's just more for you.
I can feel it.
Yeah, well, and yeah, it's not living in comparison. You're living pretty well,
Yeah.
but in potential of this thing that wants to come through, and that's part of the suffering that we have inside. It's like, something's burning, or something's just uncomfortable, perturbing. There's more that you're ready to receive, and it's ready to be gifted to you, express. Marilyn, how would the SAS program help Beth or someone in a similar situation as Beth?
It's a great question, Beth. It would help you to know your truth without any question, and you would align with it in such a powerful way that you would be like, I have to do this. There's no and ifs or buts. This is what I have to do. And there's no lack. It helps you to get clear on what that is for you. So your joy may be, oh my goodness, I love meditations. I'm going to start taking people on journeys through my meditation so I can reach people around the world and heal them through my guided meditations. It might be why I kept seeing you walking in the woods or something. So you get to line with the actual brand, your truth, your soul, and how it's meant to give out in the world. And what happens to me is there is no other way. It's who I am. I can't be anything else but what I am. And that's what I feel like the SAS experience does. It makes you like,
Oh,
this is
amazing.
it. I don't know what else to say. I don't care what's going on in front of me. Yeah. Does that help?
Mhm.
Both of you, thank you so much.
Yeah. Great work, Beth.
You're welcome.
All
Thank
the
you for
readers.
calling.
John has such a beautiful audience. He really, I hate saying audience, community.
Yeah, we do.
Community.
Well, we both do because it's both our communities showing up here. Y'all are amazing. The special offer, y'all, the link is going to be typed into the chat box again, probably in about 5 seconds. But check out the special offer with Marilyn. It's 9 live sessions plus other sessions. So it's more than that, all for $97. And again, this foundation, and I have to call it a foundation, Marilyn, what you're creating, it's awesome. I love the way that you're approaching this and what it's awakening through the subconscious and through the awakening of spirit. And again, the remembering as we bridge all that together. So cool. I'm so excited for y'all that participate. Yeah, the link's in there again in the chat box. So y'all check it out, please. And Marilyn, let's go to another live caller.
Sure.
Melissa, let's get you to unmute, please.
Thank you, John. I wanted to say a really quick thank you to you because because of your show, I'm coming into this spiritual awakening and it's just so much fun. And I get to discover people like Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn. Really nice to meet you.
You too.
So I've been hearing ringing in my ears constantly, and I've heard it every now and then before, but it's incessant lately.
Mhm.
Sometimes I get like goosebumps on my left side normally, and I'm not sure, but I think my team might be trying to communicate with me, but I don't know what they want me to do. I acknowledge it, but I'm not sure what to do after that.
So it's clairaudience opening up. So when clairaudience is opening up, it could be ringing in your ears. Your ear could get clogged. What happened to me was I'd be on the phone with somebody. I'd be like, what? What are you saying? What? And I couldn't hear them. And I went to like the best ENT, like Celine Dion's ENT, my doctor was. And she's like, I'm like, I can't hear anything. She's like, your hearing is superb.
Mm.
It's all the clairaudience that's opening up. So what I would like you to do is work with your throat chakra. And to work with your throat chakra, there's many different ways, but if you stand I see the chakras as rooms, and it's almost like they're a round clock. So the front is 12, the back is 6, that's 9, that's 3. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of that room of your throat chakra, and then breathe in a clockwise fashion. But as you're breathing in a clockwise fashion, you're saying, I'm willing to hear, I'm willing to open up, I'm willing to receive guidance, I'm willing to hear. Because part of this too, Melissa, is about speaking your truth to yourself. That's with clairaudience. The other thing you can do, honey, when it rings, lean into it. Ask it, besides asking like what it wants you to know, say, if you were a song, what would you sing to me? If you were a color, what color? Now you may not get an answer because you may be playing mind chatter. Make it up. I teach people imagination. So, do it right now with me. Read wherever the ringing has been. Everybody can do this, play with clairaudience. Lean into it. Tell me what color it is right now.
Feels like a yellow.
Great. And you're not allowed to say, I don't know. That's the thing with me when you learn from me. What song does it want to sing to you, this yellow color? Just tell me the song.
Oh my gosh. Is it a real song?
Lean into it. See what it says.
There's this Bee Gees song that says, I know your eyes in the morning sun.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great. So now go read those lyrics your guides have just communicated to you through a song.
Amazing.
Just play
That's
with it, sweetie.
That's so cool, Marilyn.
Yeah.
These tools are amazing. Yeah. Another tool that I would give you also, and I love this tool. This is so good. Mine's a little more linear and practical. No, not practical, just very kind of grounded in, but it's a good experience also to practice some of the other intuitive gifts. As you're hearing the ringing or you get the goosebumps, go sit down and do automatic writing and see what just comes through. Just do stream of consciousness writing as you're hearing the ringing. And it could be the grocery list. It could be something you forgot. It's like, go check your bank account now. It's like, who knows? But just write and see what comes through. Or it could be guidance. You don't know, but just be with it and use those different expressions and use your body as an attunement. And soon enough, you'll be having a relationship that you didn't think was possible, but so absolutely is. Marilyn, I love it's awesome.
I was going to say, a lot of people have been encouraging me to doing the writing, and I've been fighting it for some reason, probably because I'm afraid of the mind chatter, but if you're suggesting it, I'll try it.
No, but that's the thing about automatic writing, because it alleviates the mind chatter. So write the mind chatter, keep writing it. But what you do in the automatic writing is you write front and back 3 pieces of paper without lifting the pencil or pen up, unless you have to flip the paper over. So whatever you're writing, if it's I've got to get eggs, milk, or whatever at the grocery store, or channeled information, you're just writing it. So you're brain dumping, you're releasing the energy that's in you without judgment, because it's all divine guidance. Checking your bank statement is as much divine guidance as your mother talking to you from the other side. We just interpret it that it's not, but it is. It's all just beautiful love showing up for us, helping us guide our way into a graceful way of creating our life moving forward. And so don't judge it, just let it be. Yeah, let it be. So amazing. All right. Thank you for calling in, Melissa.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Melissa.
Yeah, this is awesome, Marilyn. All right, let's go to another caller. Let's go to Kat. Let's go to you. And welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, Kat.
Hi, I'm so excited. I'm kind of fanning out a little bit because I was so excited for tonight's show that yeah, thank you. Hi.
Hi.
It's really cool because I actually didn't think I was gonna get called, because every time you're talking to somebody, I'm catching a message for myself.
Good.
So that's been really helpful. Thank you. So if it's okay with you, I'm open to whatever comes through, please. Thank you.
People love when that happens. So there's a little bit of breathing, Kat, and whenever I struggle a little bit with breathing, it's because the person is just struggling a tiny bit with digesting life or being in the flow with life. I get a little bit of head dizziness with you, which has to do with groundedness, but I also feel like there is a higher guidance that wants to work through you or is working through you. I get, this is funny that they're showing me this because it's not something I would normally get, but I get like a funny little, and I don't like calling them aliens, but I do feel like there's an energy from another solar system that is really trying to work within you. And what I would like you to do, if you're comfortable with it, is to connect with the stars and the universe at night, even if it's just 5 minutes. I get a pain in my back right here, my upper back, that usually means a burden. You may be carrying certain burdens for other family members or other people around you that you really have to get conscious to and not. My right foot is up, meaning that you're not stepping firmly on the ground and stepping forward into the future. So you're hesitating also a bit, but it also shows me a horse, which is about travel and power. And I feel like travel is really, really good for you, which I get chills down the bottom of my body. And I feel like you're just being asked to like open up. I don't feel like anybody who I've read so far, anybody in this call is shut down. People have been, even if Melissa, who was new to the spiritual path. So to me, I know that you have been in the spiritual path. I also feel like you have an innate ability to teach people things and that you may want to work with that, just teaching people. And I also feel like we may not agree with this, that you're actually good with kids, that there's something that may, by the way, a lot of my readings, people don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to grow into the moments. And what's showing up for me are these kids that are very artistic or very gifted that are misunderstood. And and I'm getting a lot of chills with this, Kat. Something may come forward that you're going to help these kids really embrace their true identity, who they are, so that they're very powerful in this world. And you're meant to help lead them. That's why I feel like there's something, I call it soul star. I can't explain that energy, but it's something that really wants to come in to help you to elevate the consciousness of people that maybe receive the kids, but it's more about the kids accepting who they are and being who they're meant to be. So you understand that?
Yes, every word.
Okay.
I'm writing a book that's like the whole premise is these spirited kids and how just powerfully wonderful they are, and it's written for them to to solidify self-love, but there's also really intentional scenes of the grown-ups loving them, because sometimes a teacher or a parent needs to see it, in order to emulate it. So okay, cool. I'll finish it. Thank you.
Connect to the universal light at night, even if it's for 2 minutes, and you don't have to do it every night, just whenever you remember, and just say, I hear you. I got it. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Continue to support me, because it wants to go into a bigger place than you can imagine. It may become a podcast. It may become a thing where it becomes even more. So just allow it to continue to evolve. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Oh, beautiful. My God. I don't want, oh God, it's so hard for me to add to what you're saying, Marilyn, but I do want to share one thing, Kat. And before I do that, y'all, the special offer of Marilyn, this is Marilyn on a continuous basis. Get into the special offer. This is amazing to work with her. And I love it when you do that, Marilyn. It's
Yeah,
just
we're
like,
going to be doing this a lot. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I just
so
love this
cool.
work.
Y'all, the special offer, $97. The link is in the chat box. That y'all work with Marilyn. I'm so excited. Kat, I would suggest to you that whatever your intention is of writing for those kids and putting this information out there, that you look back into your reason why you're writing it and have compassion for the parts of you that didn't receive what you're gifting to others, and to open up to receive that within yourself. In that, you'll drop into more compassion, more understanding. And so those who are ready to receive you will have a basis, a foundation, go, oh, she gets it energetically. They don't have to know it logically, but because you carry the softness of that compassion by receiving this for yourself, and knowing that you're writing this book for yourself, and that you're giving to yourself that which wasn't given to you in some way, that it's going to expand your reach because your arms are wide open in understanding and knowing. And so I hope you give yourself the opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
Just going to tell and John what he said. There's something in it that you may end up writing a memoir about your own experience with this experience.
Oh, I got the
I love
chills.
what you said. Yeah.
Wow.
Just, yeah.
Congratulations. And thank you for the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Y'all, we're going to run the replay all weekend long. It's going to come up.
So I would love to give an exercise to people that I'm not going to read. So what I would suggest you all do is, if you're going to listen to the replay, hold a question in your intentions. Don't let it be a yes or no question, because that's usually limitation. Be like, what do I need to know to write my book? What do I need to know to live even brighter or bigger? I'm not going to give a lot of examples. And then as you go through the replay, we should have done this in the top of the hour, would have been great for people. Write down anything that charges your heart. Anything. I play these games all the times with my community. And by the end of the call, you'll have an entire reading for yourself. So if you want to go back and listen, it's great to do that.
Oh, it's fantastic. Definitely come and listen in with that intention. That's so powerful. That's a little mini course within itself, y'all.
We're going to be playing those games.
Come back with the replay, get into the special offer of Marilyn, and it's so much fun for you, Marilyn. Thank you for inviting me into the flow of the energy exchange here. And I just love what you're bringing through SAS. It's just, you surprise me. It's your work is always epic, but this is just whole another level. It's wow. We're so impressed and so grateful that you're doing it. Thank you for what you do and how you do it, and just for being the love that you are. And all of y'all, thank you for being the loves that you are as well. And these lights that are, I feel y'all. If you understood how we feel you, I know, Marilyn, you do too. It's, you see yourself in the light that is so ready and so deserving of all this abundance that's waiting for all of us. So just blessings to each and every one of you in your light. Namaste.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great evening.